you're talking about testimonials and that sort of thing. I think that you also mentioned that everyone's going through the same thing. It's not all that different. I think that was a really astute point. And there was one of the reasons I started Insight Change podcast is because I think that most of our stories have at least some overlap. We have similar experiences. Maybe it's the left hand versus the right hand. Maybe it's ups versus down, but it's still the same whatever, right? We've gone through the arc of the hero, if you want to call it that. And I want you to talk a little bit more about that, because you did also mention that before we get started, to be fair. Like that was something you also brought up, that I think that everybody doesn't realize how the same our experiences might be.
I think that let's say you've got 10 different people, you know, each a different age group, and none of them go to the gym. And then one day they all decide to go to the gym. They're all a different age, different whatever, but they're all on day one. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's because like everyone is very unique, right? And they all have their own thing going. And I think that some with social media a little bit, the internet, a lot of people have internalized. Even just the last year and a half, a lot of people have been almost like restricted to themselves. Is that so? It's not always easy to see yourself in other people, but you know, and I think a coach will help you understand this better. Is like everybody gets up in the morning and they wanna like the person they see in the mirror. You know what I mean? Everybody wakes up and they think about money and what they're going to do with a budget. You know, everybody wakes up and thinks about how they're going to put food on the table the next day. You know, like the very basic things that make us human, like we're all going through that. But I think through education and say somebody like yourself or like me need to start to create the content of the people who have been successful in this field. And I know you've shared some of your testimonials from some of your clients and whatnot. And that is like part of what we've got to do as like, we have to be community leaders here, right? Like we're going to be the coaches. We're the ones who's going to be saying, this is what we can do. This is what's going to happen next to bring us all together or whatnot. And so, yeah, it's going to be guys like us who are going to have to let everybody know that look at what they've gone through, and it's going to trigger something inside of them, and they're going to know too. Like, yeah, you know what? I am a lot more similar to this person.
Yes.
So.
And this is why sometimes when I try to bring guests on that are clients or whatever, and they're like, but Mauro, what am I going to talk about? Like, why do people want to hear about my story? It's because I truly believe that other people are experiencing some of the same things as you. Like maybe they're a mother of 3 as well. Maybe they're the youngest and, you know, always felt like they were behind everybody else, whatever it might be. Like there's always these things that we have common experiences that we don't actually recognize that other people have. We almost feel like we're different in a sense. And yes, of course we're unique. Yes, of course we're special, but we do have a lot in common, more in common than we'd expect, right? In a lot of different parts of life, right? So I think it's important for us to tell these stories to help people understand that you too can achieve these things, because this other person who had a very similar situation to you was able to do it as well. And I call that bright spots.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It's true though. Like it's not necessarily that this person did it so you can do it. But like, here's an example. This person did it. It can be done. Like we can. You are unique, but like all the examples are examples that it's been accomplished. Yes, it's this one person did it and they had a unique group. But yeah, let's try to replicate this a little bit. We're going to cater to you very specifically because you are unique. But in the grand scheme, there are a lot more things in common. You know what I mean? That if we perform the same, and that is literally the importance of coaching, is that they have the knowledge, we have the knowledge, the experience of the trial and error, and then you have to bestow that on somebody as a client, and they don't. We said earlier, like not making the same mistakes is like one of the biggest things you can do as a coach, is make sure that they stay the path instead of shriveling down every single other step, you know?
And that's the art and the science of all this, right? Like the science, we know some of the things that will work in the sense, like what the science says, what the techniques are, what the pathways, what the mechanics are. But the art is applying that and applying it to different situations, different. And
Right.
that's, I think, what most coaches could benefit more by getting more into the art side of things. Yes, learn the
Right.
sciences. You should know it. You should be able to explain to somebody, what energy they might be using when they do different exercises. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people don't care about that as much until you are able to help them apply it to their situation, right? So the
Definitely.
art side of things is also just as important as the science of it.
Yeah, and I think that is what's going to elevate you as a coach. I think that's what's going to differentiate you as a coach. It's what's going to make you more successful at the end of the day. Is you being able to combine those two things. Is how can I take what I know and apply it to you very specifically, and you have results from it.
Yes, absolutely.